Like I talk to you guys all the time about, we're going to have some good times, we're going to have some good days, but unfortunately the world is still dying, things are still going to happen, and guess what? We're still going to have trials, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all according to the scriptures. We know that the trials that we go through in our lives, we know that they're there to strengthen us. They're there to show us what it is that we have in us, through the power of God. It shows us where we are in God. Like I talked about how when the pandemic hit, it really showed many people where they were in their faith. It really showed if they really were standing on the word like they thought they was, and some people they were, but unfortunately others, they panicked, they got into fear, some walked away from God, some walked away from the church, because they felt that, this is something that God shouldn't be allowing, even though it's all through the Bible. We see all types of famines and just earthquakes and just crazy things that have happened all through the course of time. But yet, because they probably wasn't, maybe reading those scriptures, or maybe somebody wasn't teaching to them that struggle is a part of this journey and a part of life. Obviously, trials are going to come, they're going to go. But the thing that the Bible constantly reminds us, that the word constantly reminds us of, the Lord constantly reminds us, is that He never changes. So no matter how big or how small the trial, no matter how many times the trial keeps coming back, or or new trials come, that He never changes, and that He will never leave us nor forsake us. And if we lean on Him and not to our own understanding, that He will lead us and guide us through those situations. So that's the thing that we have to be encouraged about. And that's the thing that, I have to be encouraged about. Just some of the things that just has happened the last few days. I just have to continually remind myself that God has everything under control, because guess what? When multiple things hit you at once, there's always that thing that tries to linger over your head and try to make you feel a little down. And we talked about that last week. It was either last week or on this past Eat Up Mondays, just about Job's experience. Yes, he grieved, but yet he still was able to go through that grieving process, but he didn't stay there. He began to worship God. He stood on who he knew could bring him out of his situation. He stood on where he knew he could get his peace, where he can get his joy, where he can get his healing, and that is through the Lord. And that's just the same thing that I had to do these last few days. Just continue to know and trust that God has everything under control. And one of the things that this pandemic truly taught me, is that a lot of people are using this, especially in the world. A lot of people are using this pandemic, a lot of businesses and things of that nature. They're using this pandemic as an excuse to do bad business. And one thing I learned is that just because hard times come and trials come and things happen in our lives that was unexpected, that should not change who we are as far as our character and how we deal with people and how we do things. But what I'm noticing, just even personally firsthand, that people are not doing good business. People are not keeping their word. And it's just unfortunate, because when things like this happen in our lives, these are the things that people like to use as an excuse to why they're doing things out of character. And maybe it was always their character. Maybe they're just doing what they always and who they always was, but they were just hiding it really well. Because guess what? People, they can hide things easy when everything is going all right. But when things start to hit their lives, when things don't go the way that they think it should go, or it's not going how they thought it would go, then sometimes we see the real person come out. We see the real people come out. And that's what I'm seeing with a lot of these businesses and a lot of people that I've been having to deal with just over just issues, whether that's dealing with the car accident situation or just personal, just situations, just dealing in business, period. It's just like, man, people have no problem using the pandemic as an excuse to do whatever it is they want to do, or to not do what they should be doing. And I just wanted to encourage you guys, man, let's not be like them. And when I say be like them, those that are out here, saved or not saved, doing things out of character, doing things ungodly, like, doing things that is not beneficial to their fellow men, doing things that is only taking from people and not trying to help people out. In times like these, especially those of us that are saved, we should be looking for an opportunity to try to help somebody out, or try to do something good for somebody, and not be pointing them in the wrong direction, or trying to look for an opportunity to take advantage of somebody because they are at their lowest point.